Well, this is Dr. Mark Hitchcock. I'm here in my office at Faith Bible Church in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Marking the Times. My wife and I were gone last week, so I didn't have a video that we did last week, so we might put out a couple pretty close back-to-back here. We were with Dallas Seminary at a fundraising event over in Utah and had a great time there. But it's good to be back home. And I want to talk to you in this Marking the Times episode about something that's really ramped up greatly. In fact, it's happened really quickly since I've even talked about this in recent times. The New York Times has come out with an article just this week. It says Iran nears an atomic milestone. Says the headline says, edging close to a bomb's worth of fuel is seen as a tactic to pressure the Biden administration into agreeing to a quick renewal of the 2015 nuclear deal. And so they're saying now that Iran is about 4 weeks away from having enough weapons-grade nuclear material for one bomb, for one warhead. They're about 3 months away from having another one, and about 5 months away from having one more. So they're a month away from having one, 3 months away from having two, and 5 months away from having three of them. Now, it's not quite that simple, because I'll go on down and read a little bit further in the article where it says that it's to actually build a weapon that can be fired some distance and also re-enter the atmosphere is not quite as simple. It goes on to say this: manufacturing an actual warhead, one that could fit atop an Iranian missile, survive the fiery re-entry into the atmosphere, a technology the Iranians were actively studying 20 years ago, would take considerably longer. But Iran continues to insist it has no desire for a nuclear arsenal. So fitting it on an actual warhead and having the technology to do that may take longer, but they're still at this place now where they're going to have the material for a nuclear warhead within a month. Now, the reason they're doing this, according to this article, is probably not so much right now that they want to make this weapon, but they're using this as leverage and really a scare tactic to cause the U.S. and Israel to panic, so that the United States will get back into the Iran nuclear deal that was brokered during the Obama administration that President Trump canceled. And it's interesting, in a lot of the reading I've been doing, Israel at this point is even saying they would be open to a new Iran nuclear deal. That's how desperate they are. If some kind of deal isn't brokered in the near future, if we don't get back into this Iran nuclear deal, which experts are saying now that Iran has more leverage because they're further down the road. So obviously they're going to want more concessions out of the United States and these other nations that were involved in this treaty with them. So they're going to use this to their full advantage to get a new deal possibly, but a deal that's better for them, because obviously the world's a lot more fearful now of the position they're in. But even Israel seems to be willing to accept some of this. So if something doesn't happen, though, in the not too distant future, I really think this could force Israel's hand to try to go over and do something to take out some of these nuclear facilities. Israel has done all kinds of things with computer sabotage, with viruses that they've introduced there that have slowed Iran's process down. But Israel has said many times they will not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. Now, again, just because they have the material to do it doesn't mean they have the weapon, so there may still be time. But Israel is intent upon not allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon. So they'd have to go over there and maybe hit some of these hardened underground sites that Iran has, which would take massive, bunker-busting bombs or even tactical nuclear weapons. So it just continues with Iran. They're the number one sponsor of terror in the world. They're the ones sponsoring Hezbollah, that's on Israel's northern border, sponsoring Hamas down on the southwest of Israel. They're the main player over there that's stirring up all the hatred and the trouble against Israel. So we have to continue to watch this. And if Israel were to go over and do something to take out these nuclear sites, these places where this nuclear material is being created, maybe these bombs are going to be assembled, it would create a vitriol and a desire for payback in Iran like nothing we've ever seen. Of course, Iran hates Israel. They chant death to Israel all the time. They're mullah regime. But this would sow within them, I think, seeds of hatred that certainly could be a foreshadow of Ezekiel 38 and 39, where Iran, Russia, these other nations come into Israel. So, I mean, when the New York Times is a powerful paper. I mean, it's liberal, but whenever they say Iran nears an atomic milestone, I think that's something to cause us to sit up and to pay attention to. So we'll keep our eyes on this. And again, a month isn't very long. 3 months, 5 months. These are short periods of time. And bring any updates that I receive about this. Well, thank you for joining us again. I appreciate it. We hope to see you next time. God bless you.